Today I'm joined by Brad Dahler with Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices, beach properties of Florida down in the 30A market. Brad is not only a friend of mine, but he inspires me in the way that in his first year in business, looks like we're going to finish a little over $35 million in sales, which is phenomenal. We're going to share with everybody today exactly what it is, the framework of the way that Brad thinks about his business, how he executes, and what he does to make sure that there's not a lot of downtime and that he's adding value to his people. I know you're going to get something out of this. Here we go. Brad, I really appreciate you doing this, man. This is something that I've been looking forward to from a standpoint that I just think that you're a perfect example of understanding yourself, having some self-awareness, knowing what you're really good at, and then just going all in with the things that you're really good at. So let me just kind of give everybody a little bit of a background on the sales side, and then I want you to give a background on personally, okay?
Okay.
So what I love about this is your first full year in business. We're going to probably, give or take a little bit, we're going to be over $35 million probably in sales this year for you, which is tremendous. I mean, it's crazy to think this is your first full year in real estate. I know there have been some things that have prepared you for this, and we're going to go into specifics of what kind of some of the things you've been doing, but give everybody a little background on you, kind of what you think shaped you to get you to here and kind of what that looks like.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. What got me here? I was the kid in high school, couldn't sleep, or 10 o'clock at night. I was on Zillow, right? Looking up real estate in New York and Seaside, Florida, California. If I saw a movie, what does it look like there? So I guess I just, watched the Truman Show one night and decided to start looking at real estate down here. But I've always enjoyed, whether it be as a kid, going to open houses with your parents because there's nothing, it's the cheap entertainment on a Sunday,
right.
Or looky-loos, but as far as what prepared me, in college, I sold MCI, long distance phone service, over the phone for 6 years. Yeah, they had tuition reimbursement, so it put me through college, and it was great. So on the phone, Bugs Bunny, Michael Jordan were our if you can remember those MCI commercials. And then, so being on the phone was a lot of fun. And first couple months was very repetitive. Once you got past that, I was like, man, I like this. I could do it. And it was a really good environment for me doing that.
What a great training ground too, to be able to identify people that had some needs and dealing with difficult people sometimes, dealing with people that you had to build that rapport with very quickly. Man, could you have done anything better? Really.
It was fun. It was tough. People bring up fear of rejection. I'm like, I got hung up on a lot. Call somebody in the middle of their dinner. Yeah. It's but hey, I was a real person on the other end of the line, and they're real people. Yeah. And sometimes they wanted less expensive or better long distance phone service.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. So you do that. You get out of college. Get out 6 years.
Get out of college. Couple years failure to launch there. 3 or 4 years of failure to launch. The Matthew McConaughey movie. Yes. So I referenced that a lot. Then got into work in fractional sales. Real estate, right? License contract. Yeah. It was you get a deed. It was good. It was good. I'd like to think I left that industry better than it was when I started it, which was a lot of fun. But the big thing for me was I was talking to people face to face, and you have to make a quick friend, and it has to be a genuine friendship, and then after that, there's a lot of customer service. Yeah. So going from the phone side of things, telemarketing, to face-to-face interaction with customers, I was really nervous for that transition. I'm like, man, what if I was only meant to be on the phones my entire life? Right. And then I was working for a real estate company part-time, running errands, which was just because I enjoyed it, and he was a phenomenal agent, or still is. And I was able to do that, and he gave me some motivation to, hey, if you can do that over the phone, you can do this face to face.
Yeah. So tell me this, because I love your perspective of always that you can add value to everybody. Because typically, whether it be the phone side of it or the in-person side of it, there's that snap judgment. Okay, well, this person is a buyer right now. Yeah. This person is somebody that may buy in the future, and this is probably somebody that's a waste of time. How do you view that, or how do you distinguish that, and then how do you treat each of those?
Yeah, great question. So I get made fun of a lot, and deservedly so, because anybody that calls me or asks me a question or emails me or Facebooks me, they're all buyers.
Yeah.
Everybody's a buyer. Everybody's a phenomenal lead, whether it's, hey, I need help renting an apartment, or I'm looking at a $14 million gold front home.
Right.
And I probably waste a lot of time and energy on that, but in my mind, number one, it's just the way I'm wired.
Yeah.
Number two, I'm really not wasting time, because if they don't buy now, could they purchase later on? And forget the buy or financial side of it. I feel like I'm growing my database.
That's
right?
such a good effort.
Growing my database. Let's say they don't, if I give them great service, they might not be the right time for them, but they might tell a friend or family member, or be like, hey, I know this guy named Brad. So, there has been a few where I'm like, oh man, I got a lot of time into that one. That didn't work out. But hey, on the flip side, the opposite's happened.
Yeah.
The exact opposite has happened. So, everybody is a great lead or great buyer, customer in my mind. And that's a little cliche, but it's how
It's who you are.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, that's who you are. And I mean, I think that's what it comes through. People know your genuineness the second you talk to them, and it comes through. I will say this too, when you're looking at like what you've been doing this year, especially this year, this first full year, in the business, of how you've really been strategic. I love the way that literally, I remember the first time that we sat down and you were like, you already knew what it was you wanted this to look like. You had already visualized this. You had a plan of action going into it, kind of already knowing what you wanted it to look like. Talk to me a little bit about, because what I loved was the way you had such a commitment to marketing right out of the gate. Share with everybody kind of what that looked like and what your thoughts were as far as percentages and what you were going to do with everything that came in.
Yeah, another good question. I, was super excited to close a deal, because not so much, oh yay, that one's in the past. It's, wow, that one could catapult me to the next 3 or 4. So it wasn't so much, great, got a paycheck, picked it up. Nope, it's what can I use that for to catapult me to the next level. So I made a commitment. I'm going to take 25% of every closing I get, and I'm going to reinvest it back into my business. I felt like it was smart to do, especially in the market we're in.
Right.
I want to grow 25% of my money in a hot market rather than a slow market.
Right.
I rather do that when things are going good,
right,
not bad.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
And rather than having the mindset of, oh man, so I'm really only going to bring this home because I'm putting this back in. Putting that back in has allowed me to grow my business and continue to grow my business. So that's been a lot of fun. It's been tinkering with, hey, where does that 25% go?
Right.
You start out small, with different internet leads, direct mailers. A lot of that is just back into my current customers, right? Whenever I'm having a slower week or a slower month or an afternoon where I don't have a lot to do, I invest, financially and time back into my current customers to make sure they know I'm still there.
So what does that look like? Tell me what that looks like. So you get a slow afternoon, or you get caught up, because there's not a lot of slow afternoons, but you get caught up and you're like, okay, well, I've got this afternoon, wasn't expecting this. What is immediately your go-to in that situation that you're going to fill that time with?
People that I have bought or sold or have a house listed with me that I have a really good relationship with. Hey, some folks you're closer with than others, but there's not one person, and I mean this, that I've helped buy a house or that have listed their home with me that I would not consider somewhat of a friend or love to work with again, or go to dinner with my family and look forward to it, not because I have to, but because I want to. When that happens, I pick up the phone, touch base with them, see how things are going, see if there's things I can do. I put together, packages of mailers to keep them updated on the market. That way we know what their investment is doing based on the current trends in the market, and constantly keeping them in the know with, whether it be e-marketing, direct mailers, phone calls, and just showing they need to know and they deserve to know what's going on with their investment.
Yeah, you talked about building your database. Do you have like goals in mind, like I want a certain number of people or a certain type of person? Or is it just, I'm going to do this marketing, I'm going to have them as they come? Or is it something you're really focused on as far as what you want that database to grow into? Because that's where you're obviously tapping back into. What are you doing there?
Yeah, I never really thought what my database goals are. Obviously it growing. I look at it quarterly. Where was it last quarter compared to now?
Yeah.
And as long as that number is growing 100 plus, I'm pretty happy now that I think back on it. But that's not a goal I've written down. The one goal that I do have, this is a very important goal to me, is anybody that has sold or purchased a home through me, every time a quarterly update comes out and yearly, I do. It's pretty involved in keeping them up to date on that quarterly update and getting that in front of them with different channels. Right now I'm around 39 of those. My goal, I can't wait till I get from sending out and communicating either phone, mail, email, 100 of those, because that 39 has already shown that they're telling friends, they're telling family. I still talk to these folks. Hey, drop this, something got shipped to the house, Amazon, can you open it up and bring it in? I mean, I hope to have 100 set of keys one day to where I can help folks out, but that's a goal I do have.
Yeah, and I think that's so important too, is we've never even talked about this, but I think that is critically important. I think some people get into this business, they're like, oh gosh, I need 1,000 leads coming in, or I need 70 leads a month. In reality, from a scalable standpoint and the people that you can invest the time you need to in it, it's literally one a day. So you're saying 100 on a quarterly basis. It's basically a little over one a day. I mean, it's building those relationships, adding the value to those folks. Referrals now, when you've got this number of transactions that you've got, is obviously filling up some of that database as well. You're spending so much on marketing, obviously, because of the money that's coming in. Let's talk about how you identify and you test. How long do you test certain things before you back away from? How long do you test them before you're like, yeah, that works, I'm going to plow some more money in there? What does that look like as far as the evaluation of your marketing dollars?
Yeah, if I don't, I understand 10 times your investment on, on your marketing funds. I like to be around, 6, 7 plus. If I know, hey, I'm spending money on this and it's going to pay for 4, 5, 6 months worth. Because of this one transaction, then I know the chances of me getting another transaction in those 6, 7 months is going to be very, very high. Right. And at that point, it's just icing on the cake, and hopefully the snowball starts rolling downhill. As far as one thing I'm going through now, and I'm going through this, is it really hasn't slowed down here, but you can tell a little bit of a difference compared to June and July. And do I alter that? Do I scale back a little bit in November, January, February, and then ramp back up again? Well, maybe February, March for spring break, and hit the ground running for 2021. So I'm kind of working through that on my profit and loss budgeting in the slower season. But this is kind of an oddball year. It's not really slowing down much.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you've got to find the balance too. I mean, obviously with kids and with family and everything else, it's finding that balance of time and getting some rest. I mean, I think it's critically important we have some of that rest time also. You know what I mean? And so I think that's wise. Let's talk a little bit about how you identify a loser and how quickly you get done with that. So let's say that you tried something new marketing wise, because they aren't all home runs. You know what I mean? They are all not 6X on everything. You know what I mean? So how do you identify what those are? How quickly do you pull the eject cord on some of those things?
3 to 4 months. 3 months, I'll give anything about 3 months. 4 months, I'm ejecting if I don't see any results from it. That's a pretty direct answer.
No, I think it's perfect because I think most people, what they do is they think, oh, well, gosh, it's first month, and they don't, growing up around the water like I did, fishing some, we always talked about you have to soak the baits before the fish can find them. And so I think sometimes what people will do is they'll get so focused on, oh, gosh, I've been doing this a month, why don't I have a sale out of this? Well, it's a process, and it takes those 7 to 10 impressions for people to recognize you, historically speaking. So how long does it take to get to there? How long does it take, and how much have you been in front of people to get a valid idea? I think 4 months is great. With farming, for instance, typically that's going to be a 6 to 9 month time period. It's those things that you do. Farming's been one of those fundamental things for everybody in business. Have you been doing some farming and just trying to identify some places that maybe there's some opportunity for you there?
Yeah, farming's kind of the word of the month and the week and the day for me. Just ordered a book last night on farming. One thing I've committed to in specific communities. Every time I have a transaction there, it doesn't matter what it is, I'm going to let people know about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Via direct mail, phone calls,
social media
social media, bomb direct email, video email. So I've made that commitment to do that, and I want to be consistent with it.
Yeah.
If I feel like if I do it for 4 months and then don't do it for the next 4, I might as well not done the first 4 months at all.
That's it. That's it.
I'd rather do something every other month for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Or forever.
Yeah.
As long as I'm doing this, which I'm loving it. But,
Yeah.
so hopefully a long time. Then rather do something for 4 months, start it again. I don't want people to think I went away.
Yeah.
So.
And this is what I love about the way that you do things too, is that consistency. I mean, there's I've not seen a gap yet. As far as every month, I feel like you're building your database. Every month you're adding into the marketing. Every month you're refining and getting better. Every month you got more past clients that you can then lean on.
Keep talking.
Yeah,
You're making me feel good.
No, I know, but you know what I mean. So I think
you.
this that consistency on that. But obviously in the first year there's some things that didn't work out. Let's talk. What do you wish you would have known when you started that maybe you learned along the way that was maybe a lesson that was something that you look back now and you're like, why didn't I see that before then? Anything that stand out on that you tried that you were like, gosh, that was a waste of time a little bit?
Yeah, having some time set aside throughout my day where there's non-negotiable processes, and really, non-negotiable trainings. I'm a big quote insane guy because I just think they're fun.
Yeah.
But when you're green, you grow, and you ripe, you rot. And I love, I haven't had time the past couple months. Well, or it hasn't been important enough to me to make the time because that's an excuse. There's always time.
Yes.
I can find time.
Right.
But there's not, with the girls and everything else going on, I haven't made the time to, watch a lot of the training videos. So I started at Training Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's just me and myself and Irene. I sit there and for 3 or 4 hours, I train, catch up on your videos, catch up on other stuff, read a little bit of a book, and staying in that habit is gonna help.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I wish, to answer your question, I wish I would have set a few non-negotiables. This is what you got to do, and if not, things are going to pass you by.
So good. Let me say this too. I mean, as we're going in now, as we're talking today, it's in November. We're preparing already for our scheduling for next year, as far as our planning, our goals, what we're going to be doing. What are you excited about? Knowing now what you know and seeing the successes you've had this year, compounding those into next year. What are you excited about in the business right now?
Oh man, that's like the easiest. That's my favorite question and the easiest. I knew we were coming in this today, right? And hey, no one has a crystal ball, and you hear market correction and stuff. But you hear all this great stuff. But I feel like what a realtor is selling in this area is almost like a stockbroker having like a stock that has a guaranteed, this is what your rate of return is going to be. So I'm most excited for seeing the folks that I've worked with that have bought a home. That are, whether it be their first home down here or their second or third down here, which has happened, is seeing where their property is in 2 or 3 years, seeing them enjoy it, seeing their investment appreciate. That's what I'm referring to, and the folks that are renting it, seeing them get probably better rental revenue than what they thought.
Yeah.
Really, the product what we're selling is what I'm excited about. I am convinced in my heart that we're helping people. Okay, I'm convinced of that. So I don't really know of a product out there that I'd rather be selling, and that's what I'm most excited about.
Man, you're passionate. I love it because it's true. It's genuine. You really do, and when you believe in what you're doing, and you've got passion for other people, it comes through like crazy. Listen, I know people have gotten some value out of this. If anybody has someone to send down to the 30A market area or anywhere like this, how would they get in touch with you? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
850-842-8800, or Brad at bpfla.com.
It's perfect, man. I know you guys got something out of this. Make sure you reach out to Brad. Say thank you for all that he shared with us today. I hope it inspired you to take more action, and we'll talk to you guys soon.